Welcome to another episode of the Video Home Show. I'm Kieran.
I'm not Kieran. I'm the other one.
You fucked it up.
I forgot my name briefly. It's Hugh. Hugh is my name.
Okay,
that is it.
That's Hugh.
Yes.
That's fair.
Oh god.
Stressful times over there.
It has been a long while.
Excellent. So,
time.
It has been a long while of time. Why don't you tell me about it, Hugh? How was your long while of time?
My long while of time. That's yeah, okay.
Roll with it. Go.
No, it's been good. I've research for the show seeped into work the other day. I work at a scientific journal, and we were press releasing these two papers. One of them was on genital evolution, and the other one was on dinosaur evolution. And I was like, hey, it's like that show, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, but instead it's genitals and dinosaurs. And my manager gave me the weirdest look and was just like, I'm sorry, what?
You said that out loud?
I said that in a one-on-one meeting with my manager.
I want to have your work environment.
How ridiculous genitals and dinosaurs that was effectively the title of the press release. The press release was along those lines. If you were to make it a TV show, it'd be like this. And she was just like, I'm sorry, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
She doesn't understand. You need to give her the link to the podcast, man.
I don't think that would have helped that individual joke by itself.
Where it's just like, very nice podcast, Hugh. I see you don't update that often. This shows a lack of commitment that I find disturbing. You're fired.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've just been like doing stuff. I've discovered like a lesson of game development. You complained about this to me before, that like making holder assets for things is really annoying because then you have to look at them.
Yeah.
So I made some holders sound really, really quickly, and then I just had to hear it on loop for hours. Just like until I spent further hours recording new stuff, which was better, but it was still not perfect. So I still have to hear it.
Game design is all very cart before the horse kind of stuff that I just can't like work with.
The thing I'm doing is working. It was just if that terrible noise in the background wasn't there. It tells me it's working properly, but I don't want to hear it.
You should play the video game Default Dan. It's basically just a platformer with holder assets the entire way through. Like, everything is holder assets. Like, really poorly 3D rendered little guy just walking around with like the worst music going on in the background.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
How are you, Kieran?
How am I?
Do you feel good?
I do feel good.
Good in the proverbial hood.
It is the end of what I like when we were recording this, because God help me, it won't come out for ages.
No, it will. It will definitely come out really soon.
This is live.
Yeah.
Kieran, don't you dare date this.
This is live. We did this as a review for when the Goofy movie came out.
This is live whenever you hit that play button.
Yeah.
Any kind of scrubbing you do through the like length of the podcast, that's all simulated. It's all very sophisticated.
We serve you, individual listener.
Yeah. We serve you, Tom. That will work for some people.
No, if we say every name now sequentially, all the names, we have time.
Yeah. We're only 3 minutes in. Yeah, so actually I watched a lot of different stuff. Oh, hang on 1 second. A dog wants to get into my room.
I'm sorry, what? You don't have a dog?
I do.
What?
Hello, Indy. What do you want?
I see. You're not in your house.
Oh, he just wants him to he wants me to follow him somewhere, and I'm not going to do it.
No, let's make this an exploring podcast.
I actually watched a lot of stuff this week, like stuff that I wasn't meant to watch. I did watch the things I was meant to watch for this podcast. There's a lot of stuff I wasn't meant to watch that I just kind of watched in my own regard.
You weren't meant to watch, as in like, in what sense were you not meant to watch it?
Like, I'm meant to watch the Goofy movie.
Okay,
what we're talking about.
I don't expect you to like just watch the Goofy movie, and then just not.
It'll disrupt your palate, Kieran. It will disrupt your eye palate.
It's like a fine wine.
Savor the Goofy movie.
Yeah.
Let's see, lots of things. Me and the missus went to see Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Did it live up to its rep as like the placeholder movie so Sony didn't lose the rights?
Yeah, and they had to negotiate this weird like legal deal with Fox because they put a promo for the new X-Men movie at the end of it.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was like a part of the negotiations. I had to look that up because I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Why? What was the what do Fox have the rights
Fox
for?
basically bought the director of the first Amazing Spider-Man movie immediately after he was done the first Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay, I understand. That's stupid.
It was good. I recommend it. It's probably going to be one of the better superhero films this like summer.
I missed Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield, or whatever his name is. Is that his name? That is his name.
Yeah, that is his name, but no one misses tap dancing fucking
No,
Spider-Man.
that was Spider-Man 3. We're gonna that again, placeholder movie so they didn't lose the rights.
Yeah.
Not a legitimate movie.
Tap dancing Spider-Man.
That wasn't even the problem of that movie. That was just one of many problems.
One of many problems, but definitely the funniest and most easily recognizable problem. Yeah, I love the college humor sketch where like with the Avengers assemble.
Yeah.
And like it's taking the piss of like Samuel L. Jackson. This is before the movie came out, but he's like gathered up all the like actual Avengers. But then like a whole bunch of other Marvel superheroes come along that like no one mentioned. It's like, hi, yeah, I'm Stretch Matt. I'm sorry, I put this up on Facebook and invited loads of people. So there's all the X-Men. There's actual Spider-Man. There's the Purple Hulk and the Red Hulk, and then over there is tap dancing Spider-Man.
I really like Tap Dance Spider-Man from a
I feel
distance.
like you should be a thing. I watch more Star Trek as per usual because there's a lot of Star Trek and I have to make my way through it.
There is in
Yes.
fact a lot of Star Trek, especially from the 90s.
Yes, I also watched for the first time Steven Universe,
Okay.
which is really good. I really like it.
Yeah.
First of all, I did not realize this. It is the first cartoon on Cartoon Network to be created by a woman.
Oh, really?
That took fucking forever to happen.
Cartoon Network is old.
Yeah, like, and before that was Hanna-Barbera, so, and Bloomberg and shit, so, Jesus Christ. That took a while.
Did a bit.
She's the composer and storyboard artist from Adventure Time, and then she got her own show after, like, a pilot was successful online and stuff, called Steven Universe, which is about this kind of, like, these kind of Sailor Moon characters, except one of them is, like, this tubby little kid called Steven. And the rest are just, like... The rest of them are normal. It's really good. The art style is really brilliant. Lovely color choices. I don't know if this is a thing, but I started noticing this like trans-Pacific style where people are like successfully combining Western animation with like anime.
Yeah,
It is very reminiscent of like, in terms of color choices, composition, story elements, it's very reminiscent of like 70s anime. But it is like Western animation. Like to look at a glance, it is Western animation.
I quite like that. That sounds good.
I didn't realize it'd become a thing. There's like 20 episodes of it now, and I'm catching up with that.
Wow. No, good for that's like really, really good for her. Like that's stupid that there's no that's the first show created by a woman.
I know, right? That took for fucking forever.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by them.
It's not like a very like thing that you would expect to be very male dominated.
Yeah. You'd figure cartoons would have decent female representation in those kind of high jobs, but apparently not.
It's not like a stereotypically like masculine thing.
No, in fact,
in terms of like style, like you like within art, like art, it's not a
Back like before I decided to do graphic design, I was going to do animation. That was like one of my options.
Yeah, when
I'm going into college, and like I did some animation portfolio courses, and like knew people who actually went ahead with it and did animation. It is a female dominated course, at least here in Ireland. Like, there was like 2 guys in the course that like the same year I was like when I went into graphic design. But
weird.
I think that was like it. I
have a game to tell you about. Have you played Super Hot?
Super
so
hot.
Super
hot.
Oh, they're so European.
Tell us what the game is about for people who don't know.
So Super Hot is a game where time is manipulated by the player, but not in the Max Payne sort of way, like bullet time sort of way, in that you moving directly affects how quickly time moves. Like
it's acceleration though. It's not like on off. Like you speed up as you walk, and that speeds up time.
The way they describe it is that time only moves when you move, which is more like you moving causes time to accelerate. If you keep moving, time will just move at normal. But if you stop, time will basically stop, but stuff will keep moving. So
yeah, it's a first-person shooter.
It's a first-person shooter. I've only played like the demo on their website. I don't know how much more of it they've done.
I think that's it at the moment.
That's it at the moment. Yeah. Okay. but it's like there's no textures. It's just this very like minimalist
I hope they keep it that way.
looking. I hope they keep it that way to an extent. I wouldn't mind like some background and stuff, because I think you'd get bored looking at this after a while. Now that they have the mechanics of it worked out, the fact that basically the only things that are going to be moving are the enemies, which are red against the background so you can see them easier,
Background is
and
grey, yeah.
the bullets, which just like, that's the only way you can really tell things are moving when you're standing still, because bullets keep moving, they just move very, very slowly.
Well, I like the idea of that minimalist color, and maybe my vision in my head for how that game is going to come out, by not focusing on the art assets too much and like settling on the style now and being happy with it. They can focus on puzzles, because like I think the third level in the demo is where you're just in like, I think it's the second level actually, where you're in a corridor, and as soon as you start the level, 3 guys have already shot their bullets directly down the corridor, and you have to like figure out how to live through this.
They can definitely do that, but I think they could go with more kind of Portal 1 amount of art assets.
Yeah.
So like they wouldn't even not even that actually. They wouldn't. I don't think they should do like actual textures. But I think they could have more going on and make it less minimalist, but keep it like the backgrounds, like the environment is just like plain textureless polygons would be nice.
That's kind of like, it is interesting, but like in comparison, back then, Portal 1 was bravely minimalistic back in those days of video games. Like,
but there is later. It's more the like opening of the game is like that.
The only other thing that happened to me this week is the week just past was Europe week.
Yes.
Oh, delightful Europe week.
I live in the UK, Kieran. No one talks about Europe week here.
No one talks about Europe in the UK. They're not a part of it.
Except negatively.
Everyone knows Britain is 5 miles off the coast of Manhattan. But in Europe week, 9th of May is Europe Day, which once I move to another country that's not in Europe, if that ever happens, I'm going to convince them that I got a day off on that day.
Okay. If you move to America, seriously, good luck in trying to get like time off. In that.
Cultural holidays, man. It's my religious holiday.
I guess.
And then after that would be the Eurovision Song Contest, which is the best. It's too hard to explain to people who don't know what it is, but I love it. It is the best.
It's pretty good.
It is so fun to watch, and no one who lives outside of Europe and Australia now will ever understand it.
It's perplexing.
It is the oddest cultural event. You look at it objectively and like, this is silly, and a lot of these songs are bad, but then it makes you realize how bad a lot of pop music is, because really it's not that distinguishable, other than the fact that these guys are from Central Europe and not from the States.
This is my point about super hot as well. The fact that they keep saying super hot and they're very like thick European accent. It's like the Eurovision people when they sing in English. If they sang in their like native language, it would sound less like, weirdly conversely sound less like overtly European stereotypes.
Unfortunately, they're probably like Dutch or German, and that would probably still be very close sounding to super hot.
I think it's just that they're speaking English but in a thick accent, and like a lot of Eurovision is they're singing in English in a very thick accent.
Do you know what you missed with the Eurovision?
What?
Okay, a couple of interesting things happened in the Eurovision. Yes, you did. You missed a lot of things. Hugh didn't watch it because he's unpatriotic and horrible, and the UK is infecting him.
Ireland wasn't in the final. Unpatriotic.
Patriotic for Europe, the supreme federal state of Europe.
Oh god.
First of all, with all the shit that's happening in Russia with LGBT rights and like them invading Ukraine, essentially, every time anyone gave points to Russia for their song, there was audible booing in like this 300,000 strong venue. So that's the first time that it's ever happened in Eurovision. Eurovision is usually very happy-go-lucky, but that was the Eurovision, and it's so fun. And also, Australia had a novelty entry.
Did they?
Yeah,
that's good
because they watch it so much now. So
do they?
Yeah.
Oh, because everyone from Ireland is there.
Do you know what was also made in Australia? What? The Goofy movie.
Ah, you beat me to it.
Yep.
I had a good segue as well.
What was your segue? Let's go back. Eurovision.
No. My segue. No, it's gone. It doesn't matter.
Hey, I'm not gonna do. Some people say
settle for the typical thing. Living all their lives waiting in the wings. It ain't a question of if, just a matter of time. Before I move to the front of the line. Once you're watching every move that I make, you gotta believe that I gotta win it. Stand out. Somebody's the only baby you see. Gonna stand out. You know it's me.
A little smoky.
If I could make you stop and take a look at me instead of just walking by. There's nothing that I wouldn't do if it was getting you to notice. All I need is half a chance on second thought, a second glance will prove I got whatever it takes. It's a piece of cake. To stand out.
And welcome back. That was the theme to the Goofy movie. Not entirely sure what that's going to be yet, but you will. You've just heard it.
There's
We're back.
a theme to the Goofy movie.
I'm not sure if there is. That's fine.
That's alright. That song they play all the time.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. Or maybe one of those like Powerline songs, but I'm sure that's heavily copyrighted.
Yep. Unlike the Cadillacs and Dinosaurs theme tune.
Which is fair use out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah, so we are here talking about the Goofy movie. We both watched this, pretty straightforward. Unlike watching television series where we've only watched a couple of episodes, we have and both, in fact, watched the Goofy movie.
We did.
I also watched the extremely Goofy movie, which is the straight-to-video sequel. Which is
it's called An Extremely Goofy Movie, to insinuate there might be more.
There might be multiple ones. Indefinite article. It's a possibility there's more out there.
And the Goofy movie is called A Goofy Movie, not The Goofy Movie.
They really had high hopes for this franchise.
I don't think so. I think it was just like the style of the... Anyway.
Okay, so let's do the vital facts about
Vital
this.
facts.
So obviously this is a Goofy movie, so it's a Disney American animated musical comedy film. Much debate as whether it's in the main Walt Disney continuum, because people argue that it shouldn't be because there's like a dog people in it, but it is a musical, so I don't know.
Yeah,
so it's made
there
by
are an awful lot of dog people.
There are mostly dog people. We'll get into that.
Yes.
Done by Walt Disney Pictures, and it was
a continuation of the Goof Troop TV show that ran in the early 90s.
Yeah, it is a bit of there's a bit of a time skip thing going on because like they're teenagers. Well, Goofy's ageless, but Max is a teenager now.
Yeah.
As opposed to he's like 10 or something in.
I think he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be 11 in Goof Troop.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be 14 in the Goofy movie. So I mean, like actually, that's pretty moving through time in a normal way.
Yeah.
Because Goofy movie was 1995 and Goof Troop finished in 93.
Oh, okay. So a Goofy movie is like 24. It's like live action, real time show. Yeah. Anyway,
they respect real time in the Goofy universe.
Apparently,
more so than in most actual live action TV shows.
Well, the straight to TV, the straight to film. God damn it!
Straight to film.
I said everything except the right one. The straight to movie sequel did not respect real time.
Straight to movie sequel. Doesn't make any sense.
Straight to video sequel.
You were so close.
I'm so close. Actually, it does. I'm actually looking at the timescale now. It does. But anyway, it was directed by Kevin Lima. Came out in 1995. I think you already mentioned that. Mm-hmm. Kevin Lima also did. He was the head of the story of The Lion King, so that's pretty impressive.
No, that's pretty impressive.
And he was co-director of The Prince of Egypt, which is a damn good movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think one of the only good 2D animated DreamWorks films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there aren't are there many 2D animated DreamWorks films?
There's only a couple.
Yeah.
That's definitely like the best one. And he also did Brave. He also co-directed Brave, as well as Tarzan, 102 Dalmatians, and Enchanted.
Yep.
Enchanted is alright.
My Irish teacher was an animator on Tarzan. He was like a terrible person otherwise.
That's all he has
Every
going
once
for
in a while,
himself.
you just be like, "I'll draw a map now," and just draws really, not really, really well, like drawn map really quickly. And we were like, "What? How'd you? Oh, you were an animator." I forget that because he's just a bastard.
Such a weird direction to take for his life, though.
He was a weird guy. I don't
Fair.
don't understand. Anyway,
In Ireland, you have to learn the Irish language. Bit of a decent cast. We'll go through like some of the notable names. Benavista Productions, 78 minutes long. Box office budget was 35 million. Jesus Christ, what? How was
yeah,
this
they
30
brought in 35 million. It didn't cost 35 million.
Oh, that was the box office. Oh, sorry. Jesus.
You're really bad at words today.
What the fuck's going on? Yeah, it was a good release. Came out in video. Like, this was big. I went to see this in the theater when I was younger.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, me too. I remember that.
Yeah. Reception is kind of mix. It's like straight down the middle on both Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb.
Well, no, 6.8 is quite good on IMDb. Like, very few things have higher than 8 at all.
Good Will Hunting is like 8.
Yeah, like exactly. Very successful movies are like
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
most successful movies are 7 point something really. So 6.8 is pretty good for like
Yeah.
the Goofy movie.
But general criticisms on this movie when it came out was that it had all the hallmarks and feel of a straight-to-video film,
Yeah,
but was actually like a theatrically released. But you know, it was successful, and it was like number 2 in the US box office on opening weekend behind Bad Boys.
and it wasn't. I have a feeling that the 90s weren't like now. If a kids movie comes out, the kids movie will pretty much always make more money than whatever's out for quite a while.
Yeah, there is like this thing with cinema where there just needs to be a kids movies out because it's not so much something you go to see, it's something you go to pacify your children.
Yeah, exactly. So there's always lots of kids movies out, and like there'll be the successful kids movie that could be number 1 for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Earlier, like before the 90s, this was definitely like a stronger brand, but being a Walt Disney's children film out at the time, that is a big deal.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We should mention, for anyone who doesn't know, the Goof Troop, it is this weird little television show from, I believe it was 1993, I think you said that?
I think it finished in 93.
Yeah, it was 65 episodes syndicated 1992 to 1993. The animation quality on that was like substantially subpar compared to this movie. But it was I'm sure we'll come to this show at some point on the show, but like on the podcast. But it was about the like very familial relationship of Goofy and his subtly existing son Max and his neighbor Pete. It was actually a lot about Pete and his family.
Yes, it was a lot about Pete.
A lot of them disappear. We'll get into that.
They were killed.
Anyway, and this was all produced in the Australia animation studio for Disney.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was their big thing, the Goofy movie and Goof Troop.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much all the facts I can think about to mention on the show. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Let's talk cast.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I was like, Ray Liotta's in it, but who was he?
Yeah,
Because he's in the cast
Ray Liotta.
list. Liotta.
Ray
I don't know-
Liotta,
I'm not
yeah.
going to say his name. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
But also, you know who the girl, like the love interest for Max. Her voice is the voice of Lucy from Eeyore, who they kill off because her character wasn't working out. So she was in the Goofy movie. She had a lead role in Eeyore. They killed her, and then she was in some Lifetime movies. I'm sure she's still an actress and like makes plenty of money doing stuff, but like she's not famous.
Yeah, she also like her character certainly went to like Mandyville, like with the Extreme Goofy movie.
Did she? Did they kill her?
They don't mention her. It's
That's really
total Mandyville.
In fairness, though, like if they mentioned her, that would be like so. Her and Max get together when he's 14. I mean, if they were like still together in the Extreme Goofy movie, that might be a bit weird.
Yeah, the Extreme Goofy movie, because we won't really touch on this, is set in like his college years.
Yeah, like I mean, he lives in a small dog-related town.
Yeah, but then he starts getting like major puss in like the Extreme Goofy movie.
Oh,
It's not even subtle. It's not subtle at all.
as in like major
Max.
like feline puss. Is that what you're saying?
No, Max just starts sleeping around. It wasn't really necessary to the plot, so she could have been there, but okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, like,
who was Ray Liotta in this movie? I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Anyway, you talk about the cast while I figure this out.
So basically, yeah, they have a lot of the like standard ones, like Bill Farmer, who is the goofy voice for everything now. He's also Pluto. Jason Marsden, who is the voice actor for Max in the Goofy movie. He's also done other things. He's like the voice of Peter Pan and Peter Pan and the Pirates. Yeah, he has some like notable appearances. He also, you'll like this,
I better.
he directed The Journey of Alan Strange.
What?
Yeah.
Like all of it?
Yep.
Wow.
That's some bringing it right back, isn't it?
Oh man, The Journey of Alan
That is
Strange.
on our list of things to cover, guys.
He was strange.
He was
on
strange.
a journey. That show had problems we will come to at a later date.
Yes, we will, because that is on our list. That is very much on our list. Did you find out who Ray Liotta was?
He's not in the movie. Someone has put that on Wikipedia.
Okay. That's how credible how much research we do on this show.
No, I looked into it and I was just like, I just can't find out who he is, and I just was like, oh, I never checked like some other sources. I'm just like, oh, he's not on the list.
Yeah.
Maybe he's actually just not. He's not in the movie. It's just not true.
Yeah, there's definitely no Polly Shore.
For anyone, Kieran,
Yeah.
if anyone was listening to a bit of that and was just like, Ray Liotta's in the movie, I'll stop listening to this podcast.
I better watch this movie now.
We've spread some lies.
I really hope that's the case.
No. Yeah, me too. I really hope I've influenced someone's day in a negative fashion like that.
Definitely very noticeable Pauly Shore in this movie. Nacho cheese!
Yeah, man, the Pauly Shore character is so good.
Shut up, Major Mundo.
He loves his nacho cheese.
I think cheese is weed in this movie. We'll get into that. But okay, he's not credited on the Wikipedia, or at least I can't find him. But the guy from Princess Bride, inconceivable guy. He's Principal Mazur. He's the principal in this movie.
Oh yeah, Wallace Shawn. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Principal Mazur.
Oh god.
You didn't realize that?
Oh god.
So I should also say at this point that I have watched this movie twice in like the last week, because I was at a friend's house and we were all just drinking, and I was like, guys, I have to watch the Goofy movie, and they were like, yeah, let's watch the Goofy movie. But then I didn't pay attention to it at all, and then we watched the Extreme Goofy movie afterwards as like a double feature, and for some stupid reason we were really into that. But then I had to watch the Goof movie again. Anyway, so it's definitely in my memory now. So I should give a synopsis of the plot. So I'm going to keep this really...
Brief. Let's keep that brief.
Super brief. Okay. As in Goof Troop, Goofy is a single father to teenage Max Goof. His last name is Goof, which is stupid. Which begs the question, what is Goofy's first name? Because clearly Goofy is a play on his last name, Goof. Anyway.
His first name is Goofy.
Goofy Goof?
His name is Goofy Hoof. That's his name.
Is it?
Yeah. Because,
his dad was the Goofy one.
As a, you know the way, like, you give someone a nickname based on their last name. Pete just calls him Goof. He calls him his last name.
Oh yeah, like, yeah, you're in trouble, O'Brien. Yeah, I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing on with the synopsis. After Max gets into trouble on the last day of school, Goofy becomes worried that he is... Okay, we're gonna...
Did you write this down?
I did.
And you can't read it.
I did. I'm really bad at these things. Things like all the things I'm in are like super edited. After Max,
just imagining like editing that where
like all of this is
those
cut,
words are really close together. You suddenly really quickly say that.
After Max gets into trouble on the last day of
together.
After Max gets into trouble on the last day of school, Goofy becomes worried that he hasn't been spending enough time with Max and decides to take him on a father-son road trip. Max, however, is embarrassed by his dad and is more worried about impressing the girl of his dreams, Roxanne. When the road trip means he'll he'll have to miss a date with her. He claims it's because Goofy is taking him to a concert in Los Angeles, where he will appear on stage. Hilarity ensues. So that's the movie.
Hilarity does ensue. Yeah, pretty much. Some points I have about the, like, Roxanne. She's a needlessly sexual dog.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, that is like, I think sexualized dog people is definitely, that is the second bullet point on my notes.
Oh man, like, she's a sexy dog.
Yeah, okay, but the more worrying one is like in the opening sequence when there's the big song about like not having to be in school and stuff like that.
yeah, that is worse.
There is another dog teenager person who's meant to fill the role of like the popular, attractive, but also somewhat loose woman in like secondary school, because she just wears like a piece of black loincloth over her giant dog breasts, which I want to point out there is only 2 of them.
That's fine. I mean, like, they're humanoid dog people. They're not dogs.
Yeah, they definitely made the right artistic choices. But she's like wearing a belly top and like shorts.
Artistic.
And then like in the first scene, I guess it's like the first act, Max does a move on stage where he shows he's got the stuff and he does all the power line thing, and he like mouths along to a song and does a dance on stage, and everyone's super impressed with it. And then after it's revealed by the principal that it's him, that particularly sexualized dog person gets all wet and it's horrible. She like tries to like get in Max's pants.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
needlessly sexual dog ladies.
I should also point out that Goofy and Max are really the like, and Pete and PJ, I suppose, are one of the people who the only people who really look like dogs. After that, they're just people with button noses.
Yeah, pretty much. And like also because Max and people are like are actual Disney characters as opposed to like background Disney characters, they all have Mickey Mouse's gloves on as hands.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell the main characters apart from the other people.
But like
they have real hands.
Like Roxanne is just like, if you block out the nose, it's just a regular girl character. She's like Lilo from Lilo and Stitch, except far more sexualized.
Yeah, Lilo's supposed to be like a real person.
Yeah, she's like,
whereas needlessly sexual dog lady, as I'm calling her from now on, is she's needlessly sexual. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's all that we can
say. Roxanne.
No.
No, but also you're also right. Okay, so the opening scene is Max's dream, where he's like getting with Roxanne, but then he becomes Goofy.
Yes, very clearly setting the tone and the conflict of this movie.
Yeah, very clearly saying that like Max doesn't want to turn to his father.
Yeah,
who is no he's not a very attractive man. Let's say that.
Yeah, even by these weird dog standards.
Max is hunky.
Yeah,
Max has
got like that 90s.
Like
Max has got that 90s alternative slacker thing going on. That's like really appealing.
He does.
He listens to Nirvana, except he doesn't. He listens to Powerline, which is this
Michael Jackson Prince mashup thing.
Michael Jackson Prince, and I just noticed, I'm going to skip ahead to the end of it. The final song, the concert ending thing. We've done the synopsis, everyone knows what happens. So the concert at the end,
calamity ensues.
The whole act on stage by Powerline and the entire song is a direct rip of MC Hammer's Too Legit to Quit, both song and video, because they do that thing with the hands where he goes like puts up 2 fingers. The song is called Eye to Eye, so in that song he puts up 1 finger, then he puts 2 fingers, and then puts up 1 finger, so it's like eye to eye. That's very similar to MC Hammer's Too Legit to Quit, where he's like 2 fingers, an L with your hand, 2 fingers again, and then does the whole chopping off the head indicating a quit motion or giving up or whatever, which is a great 10-minute long music video I implore everyone to watch. Because it's...
But also, I can't stress it enough, it is very important to also watch the Goofy movie, because the Goofy movie, it's pretty good.
No, 10-minute MC Hammer video. The whole narrative of it, since MC Hammer is James Brown's godson,
oh god,
real life fact, James Brown instills powers onto MC Hammer to go out and defeat
God.
Michael Jackson. And you don't see Michael
that's
Jackson. You see him from behind, and he's
Yeah.
watching the concert, and like some legal shirt guy is like, "Shall I stop the concert?" And then Michael Jackson just puts up his hand, and you know it's Michael Jackson because he's wearing the diamond glove, and then does the too legit to quit motion with his hand.
He's too legit to quit. I get it.
Yeah. Also, speaking of which, the too legit to quit hand motion has also made an appearance in the fantastic, short-lived, critically acclaimed series Clone High.
Oh, really?
Gandhi does it in one scene.
Oh, that show.
It is so subtle, and you barely notice. It was like he just did. Yeah.
That might just that could even be just like an animator thing.
It was.
It's like your man Gwen Stefani's brother animating her and the band into The Simpsons as the background, just because. Anyway,
Let's see.
When I first started watching this movie, I didn't look at the plot or anything beforehand. I was just like, no, I'm gonna come into this fresh. I did not know it was a musical anymore. I hadn't seen this movie since the 90s. I was surprised when I was like, nice dream sequence opening, some banter between him and his dad. Suddenly they all break into song.
Yeah.
I was very confused.
I literally have that as well. Fourth note down. Oh shit, it's a musical.
Yeah.
That was actually the
they
number
all
one.
break into song in all caps. I
So many all caps
they
notes.
wrong. Yeah, pretty much. Also, yeah, right. Okay, so Max has a Mickey Mouse phone. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so Mickey Mouse exists, and Max makes reference to other Disney characters. But why is everyone in the town a dog? I don't get
Because
it.
it's the
Where are all
USSR, and everyone has been separated out by their ethnicity and religion. You're in the dog oblast. The over-sexualized dog people oblast.
If you're not sexy enough, you have to go to the other dog one.
The ugly dog people
Dog
oblast.
There's a very fine line that Max and Goofy are treading. Well, Goofy's very attractive, as we've discussed.
That was also, I forgot that as well, and I actually noticed that a number one criticism that happened back in the day when this came out was that I think it was from Variety magazine, and I tend to agree with them now in retrospect. The songs are very forgettable because we both forgot it was a musical.
I always remember that from movies. There was this comic strip I saw recently that was just two young kids watching a Disney movie, and they're just like, stop with all the singing. I wanna move on to this. What happens in the plot? When they're older, they're just like, God, I love all the songs from our childhood. I think I was like that. I much more appreciate Disney songs now than when I was a kid. I was just like, I genuinely want to know what happens to Max. He seems like a righteous dude. And what happens to the all the other characters? I want to hear their backstories. What happened to the poorly shore guy? Did he find love? He did. He did find love. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I will talk about that in a minute, but I do want to say the Powerline songs are actually pretty fucking decent though. You listen back to the end again.
Yeah. No, this is the thing. The songs are actually they're quite good, but they are very forgettable.
Yeah.
But I think that's true of most songs from kids movies. Really, they're memorable in a certain way. Musical songs I don't find very memorable.
I might argue that's the difference between most children's movies and Disney.
Oh, I get
the top league Disney movies do have quite memorable songs. Circle of Life, Hakuna Matata. I'm trying to think of other examples. I'm actually not a huge fan of those kind of Disney movies because I didn't like the singing back then, but Hercules.
I know, actually, you know what?
I
I retract my statement. I just remembered Hercules just before you said it. Oh, Hercules. Yeah. Oh man, those muses, they knew their shit.
And then Milan, pretty good stuff in it as well. Aladdin. This. I think that's what separates Disney movies from. If you ask me to remember any of the songs from The Prince of Egypt, I'm gone.
Yeah. There were songs in The Prince of Egypt. Oh god.
Yeah, because it was DreamWorks trying to do Walt Disney, and then there's also songs in Pocahontas 2. I can't remember any of them.
Songs. Oh god. Okay.
Did I mention Pocahontas 2 is on Netflix? But not Pocahontas 1.
You did not. There's a lot of sequels to things on Netflix. There's Mighty Ducks 3, but I don't think there's Mighty Ducks 1. One might argue that 1 might be the best one.
So at the beginning of the movie, it does a very old-fashioned thing that I think only animators and people in the film industry, or like really weird film enthusiasts or animation enthusiasts would ever get, which is they open it with a movie at the beginning, the plain silver, like the silver very fancy serifed font up against that deep blue background. That was like a thing that happened in 80s to like early 90s and also 70s, I want to say 70s Disney films.
Yeah,
and like a lot of films back then where like they had to point out, because there was no like standardized thing in cinemas back then to indicate what was an ad and what was actually the feature presentation starting.
Now what does it is the age rating thing.
Yeah,
because you have to have that before everything.
Exactly, yeah. And maybe that might be like an Irish thing. I'm not entirely sure, but I think America has something like that now as well.
No, they do. They've had something. I think they've had something like that for longer actually, but it's not. It's a different system. It's much weirder. But anyway, yeah.
Ireland is also weirdly conservative. Like porn is still illegal in Ireland. But then the internet happened.
I don't know where you're basing that on.
Anyway, porn is illegal. Like you can't like officially release porn.
Oh, like the cinema.
Like in any like way, not even on VHS or DVD in Ireland, because the Irish Film Board refuses to give it a rating, and therefore anything that doesn't have a rating is not allowed to be published in Ireland.
Oh, well, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed out much, really.
VHS, no, the internet came along.
Pornography.
But like, and then it jumps down. It jumps down with the goofy thing in between the movie, and I thought that was a nice touch. But again, I was also like, was that still happening back then? How many people would have got that seeing that?
Again, it's not like it's for the. I think it's with, like same with the over sexualized dogs. It's not really for the kids.
I want to argue that the over sexualized dog people aren't for anyone. Like people always kind of like.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. People always ask like, where did like the furry thing come from? Like on the internet, like furries are like the bane of existence, but like no, Disney was fueling the fire for years.
Oh yeah, they were. They're sexy dogs.
Sexy dog people. Robin Hood had some pretty sexy foxes.
Ooh, were they foxy? Would you describe them as foxy?
No.
I would. We're very different people, Kira.
Other things I want to point out, like, first of all, this did the ultimate movie thing, which annoys the shit out of me, which is while they drive away to go on their father-son fishing trip, to kind of show how Goofy is really goofy, when in actuality he's actually like quite dangerous and absent-minded.
Yes.
And like a threat to his life and his sons.
Yeah.
He runs over a fire hydrant with his car, and the fire hydrant just bursts out of the ground.
Yeah, that's not how fire hydrants work.
Fire hydrants are like bolted to the ground and made of solid cast iron.
Yep, most cars are not. Most cars are quite flimsy. Also,
okay, cars are quite good, but
they do that thing where like it's not that's not a thing, but where he like runs over and breaks his own fence. You're like you have driven. I know it's a cartoon, but he does that he drives all the time. Why can't he drive out of his house now?
Yeah, that was actually one of the like jokes that made me like giggle, where he like drives out of it and there's the like he's saying goodbye house, goodbye tree, and he knocks it over the fence. He looks in the rear view mirror and he's like it's like goodbye random planks of wood or something along that line.
Yeah, it was goodbye planks of wood, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
That was like a good little tidbit of a joke, but
and then like back to your point of Goofy being like horrendously dangerous. He can't drive, not because he's not good at driving, because he's always insisting on doing something else instead of driving while driving, like videotaping his son and not watching the road with both hands,
looking at a map.
Yeah,
looking at a map that clearly
breaking into song. Yeah, looking at the map is probably the worst one.
Looking at the map that is clearly easily the size of the entire windscreen, like giant map. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just fascinating to me how this all worked out. But and also there's been quite the transition. I want to point out now the differences between Goof Troop and the Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm.
In the Goof Troop, Goofy and Max live in a trailer park.
Do they?
Yes. Which makes sense for Goofy. He definitely seems like the kind of guy who can't hold down a job that affords a house in America.
Why is Goofy's job a department store photographer?
More importantly, why is Pete's job that? Because in Goof Troop, Pete was a used car salesman, and a successful one.
Also, in this, Pete seems to be like Goofy's manager. But they seem to be going on holidays at the same time. Who is manning the photo thing in the shop?
It seems like it's a temporary installation kind of thing. But like
upsetting.
I'm not sure if he's his manager. I think they've gone into business together.
Okay, maybe that's how Goof Troop ended.
Maybe that's how Goof Troop ended. Maybe that's how he affords the giant house. But
that's a resolution of Goof Troop we're missing.
Peg has seemed to have divorced Pete.
Oh god.
Like, Goofy was always a single parent.
Yeah.
But like Pete had the typical like American family, you know, husband, wife, and 2 children. Peg has divorced him and taken away Pistol. Pistol was
but like you can't
youngest
introduce too many characters in the film.
But what do you mean introduced? They were already introduced.
No, but like you had to make the movie from like I was too young to watch Goof Troop, but I was the right age when the Goofy movie came out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
okay,
except for I mean, no one is the right age for the sexy dogs.
No one.
There's no age for
sexy
that.
Dogs. That age does not exist yet. Maybe in the future. We need to start thinking of time in like sideways terms.
Yeah, but, when you have the 4th dimension of
transcend species
that have interest in sexy dog ladies. Anyway.
Also, I want to say, like, you have to watch an episode of Goof Troop and then the Goofy movie side by side because the animation does have a major bump.
Well, that makes sense. Like, yeah, like it's the
but like, look at the Simpsons movie. Like, all that happened with the Simpsons movie is they got cell shading. That's the typical one.
Yeah,
but like
I mean,
this
like,
is
that was the difference
completely
between
redrawn.
a modern, like, already very like high production value digital animation
show. I get you.
To a slightly higher production movie, whereas this was a reasonable budget, like Disney thing, pre like massive Disney Channel shows that make a lot like that. Like Disney Channel isn't such a their TV side wasn't such like a driving force of money at the time as it is now, where you have like the really high expensive stuff that's on Disney Channel. I imagine Goof Troop was like quite
Sweet
cheap
Life
to
Zack
make.
and Coney.
Yeah, like I mean the production value of that. Wow.
Through the roof.
They live in a hotel. Hotels
Avatar,
are expensive.
stand down. It's all computer generated. None of them are real.
Oh, thank God.
Oh yeah, and I also want to talk about Bobby, the Pauly Shore character.
Yeah.
Who was an odd character for this movie. First of all, his obsession with cheese is very much paralleled with like the use of marijuana in high schools back then.
Yep.
Like when he's in the principal's office, he's like, "Max, guard this with your life, bro."
Yeah. He's just like, I need my payment before I can give you this TV. It's like, what's wrong with you? You're trading like valuable equipment for some cheese.
The guy clearly has like some sort of issue.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, not to like, you know, be all hashtag legalize at 420, but you know,
420.
marijuana isn't physically addictive, but this guy seems to have a physical addiction to the cheese.
He just really likes the cheese. Chill.
I'm not sure if that's a comment on him being like a dog, but I don't know.
Also, I'm not gonna get into the physical addiction thing. That's
Hey.
There are a number of side points to that. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Well, more studies are needed always with that because
More delicious studies.
we'll talk about this off camera because you definitely know more about this than I do.
Yeah, but it's not. This isn't a very goofy conversation now.
This is all edited out here.
I have a question about, like, you know, when there's a scene near this. It's near that principal scene. Also, one thing about the principal looks a bit like Richard Nixon.
He does. I think he's meant to. I'm not entirely sure
I think
why.
that's the point. I think the principal is supposed to be Richard Nixon. Something with the way he looks out the window. I don't know.
Principal Mazur. It's that like very like wide false grin thing that's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, around then there's the bit where him and Roxanne are talking. She drops, or does he knock into her or something? Anyway, she drops her stuff, and he goes to help her pick it up, and their like hands touch awkwardly. And it's supposed to be like a romantic moment, but he's wearing gloves.
Yeah.
It's not romantic. He's always wearing these weird gloves that are part of his skin.
That scene is mirrored with Bobby and Stacy later on in the film.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god!
But, you know, she's basically
bring it full circle, baby.
Delicious cheese.
I want to talk about. Hang on, just one brilliant line from the class assembly scene. That scene is so rich. We can barely move off that scene. But okay, so they signify the nerds in this by putting them in Star Trek uniforms, like Federation of Planet uniforms. So that's really weird. It was like, okay, that's fine. I guess like that was what people thought nerds were in the 90s. But then during the assembly, when Stacy, the somewhat like awkward and nerdish kind of girl, is on stage talking, she's the class valedictorian or whatever.
She's the class president.
Class president, yeah. One of the nerd guys just goes, "Yo, Stacy, talk to me, baby."
That's how nerds talk.
I was like, whoa.
That's how I talk.
This is the weirdest thing for that character to say. This two-dimensional character has become very three-dimensional in one line.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
He's like, yeah, he's a nerd, but he's confident with the ladies.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And also, I want to point out the best thing. Before Max goes on stage, he looks out, and even though the principal's talking in a chatty assembly, right? Talking over a chatty assembly, he's somehow able to hear the like hunky dog guy person lean over and just go, not even really hitting on her. He just goes, "Hey Roxanne, about Stacy's party," and then suddenly, dun dun.
Yeah, quickly, if I don't do my show now, I'll lose Roxanne forever.
It's so weird. And it does the actual stereotypical dun dun dun. It's kind of sting, and then
it's pretty good.
Fast hard zoom on Max's face. And it was like, okay. It could have been just like, "Hey Roxanne, about Stacy's party. Me and Kimberly are going together. Is your dad giving rides?" Like that conversation could have gone anywhere.
Max is not a very logical person. Let's say that, okay.
And then after like the principal stops the whole dance scene thing,
because dancing is wrong.
From the sideline, while PJ and Bobby are looking on in like horror, Bobby just goes, "We're busted."
Yeah.
I was like, don't say that like it's a good thing, Bobby.
He can only talk in that rhythm and like pitch.
The guy's
he has to
happy.
move through that sound. Everything has to be nya, or else he can't say it.
Oh yeah. I missed this, but yeah, with the whole photography thing with Max and with Pete and Goofy, wouldn't trust either of them with my kid.
No, I would not.
No.
Pete looks like he'd murder your child accidentally, and then be like, "I'm being professional. This didn't happen."
Actually, like
fault.
a lot of pit bulls do in British media.
Yeah.
In like British news, you always get those stories about like some stupid parents who leave their like children alone with a dog in the room that they picked up at a pub.
Yeah, that was one time, and she's there's a court case. Yeah, anyway, are you like making those equivalent, as in so that's as dangerous? Is going to the mall and like leaving your child with a photographer even though you're there. They're not even
Leaving your
leaving- They don't even leave. Anyway, it's not.
They stand aside. Like there's definite touching.
She's also a dog.
Anyway,
It's not like
dogs are
this-
known to cannibalize in the weirdest of situations.
in more
Anyway.
photography kind of situations.
Yes, exactly. Haven't you heard of all those cases?
All of
No one goes to the mall. I also want to point out that on the way home from school, when Max is leaving, when he's like in a good mood,
Yeah,
before he's like finds out he's going on his like father-son trip,
yeah,
he Ferris Bueller's his way home.
he does. Yeah, that was.
He
that was
quite
great.
literally does that scene.
That that was an excellent homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I hope it's a match.
Or they were just sitting around being with the story, like storyboarding it, just going, "Oh, this is so original!" And then he can jump over this fence.
It's like, hey Terry, you ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? No, why?
Ferris
Oh, really?
Bueller's Who Off.
I love when people get the Who wrong, and, like put it in the wrong place.
Yeah, it's great.
Hey, Hugh, have you seen a Goofy movie? A Who Goofy movie? So they set out in the open road, and there's a duet song where they like can't get along.
Oh, they're just
there's also-
bickering. It's not good. True song.
They do the AM FM like radio switcheroo thing, which is actually like happens so often it's warranted of its own trope page on TV tropes,
Or some sort of
which I
other
now use
trope
for a lot of
website.
things. No, there's only one.
Yeah, probably.
And also there's a Wilhelm scream in that moment.
There is. Yes.
Yeah, very clear Wilhelm scream and like that during that song.
It's pretty well hidden in the song as well. Well, no, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't know it was there, or know what the Wilhelm
Yeah.
scream sounded like. There's like, so Max's ploy to trick Goofy into going to LA to bring him to the concert is he changes like Goofy's map, because Goofy's not smart enough to read a map that has more than one line on it. And
Yeah.
basically, like, he's not going to do it. But then he's sitting by the glove compartment while Goofy's asleep. The glove compartment kind of opens
Yeah.
itself, and the map like rolls out. He's like, "Here's the map. I could edit it."
That scene is actually done. That scene is done so well. The way like it pans up and the map rolls out, and you're like, the camera is from like the map's perspective, and the pencil kind of rolls
Yeah,
along it.
magic
I think
pencil.
That is beautifully composed. I just want to say that.
Temptation
But, yeah,
drawer.
go on.
Yeah, so map plus pencil
Exactly.
equals deception.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like when they're at the campsite and Pete and PJ come along with their RV, which is like, I know it's meant to be horrifying, but it actually looks like the best RV
It
ever.
looks so good.
It like comes along and demolishes, like purposely demolishes with its chainsaw arm that this RV has, which doesn't seem street legal.
No, no, it does
demolishes
not.
like 3 trees. It fells 3 trees. It's like they're gone.
Then when they're getting on, there's like there's a instead of actually having scenes where him and Max, Goofy and Max are getting along, they have a montage instead of like quirky
Yeah.
things him and Max do.
The nuns are also everywhere, and they legit killed a mine in that montage.
Yep. Yeah.
Goofy snips the like fake rope, and an actual piano drops in him, and it's like kind of funny, but that guy's legit dead.
Legit dead. He's a mime though.
Legit dead.
And in animation, no one likes.
They're not
mimes.
really people.
They're not real people.
They're not really people.
The moral of the story overall, I think, is that the best way to talk to ladies is through elaborate lies. Because it worked out well for Max in the end. And yeah, like, he tells Roxanne the truth. But really, if he didn't tell her, it would have also worked out as well.
It's just that actually. Well, hang on. I want to make a point about the like that whole resolution,
Yeah.
because he's like, "I'm sorry I lied to you" and stuff like that, and I don't actually know Powerline. I was like, "Don't worry, Goofy." I was like, "Why did you do that?" I was like, "I guess I just wanted you to like me, and I'm afraid you wouldn't if you found out I was lying." And I was like, "But I always liked you. For the first time I heard you laugh." And I just and I just go, "Great! Everything that happened in the movie was pointless."
But you knew that already, because she was already like, yeah, do you want to go to the, like, let's go to the party, that sounds great. And then he was just like, elaborate lies. Instead of just being like,
No, but like,
no, seriously,
No.
I have to go away with my dad. And she's like, a bit hesitant about it. So his response is, to go see Powerline, our best friend.
yeah, that's my natural conclusion.
Like, she
also,
in no way
hang
seemed
on.
annoyed at the time.
No, because the laugh happens before he does the power line dance in the school assembly.
That's
So
true.
literally, Everything didn't need to happen.
Okay, so that didn't even need to happen.
He didn't need to go up on stage. He wouldn't have gotten in trouble. He wouldn't have had to go on the fucking fishing trip.
But then he wouldn't have gotten his crazy adventure.
That's fair. It would have been a very dull movie, but like...
Yeah.
Uh,
Everything works out well for the cartoon characters.
so I have some like some final points.
Yeah, shoot.
Bigfoot looks like every other dog person. There's like no way of distinguishing Bigfoot from regular dog people.
He's larger. Move on. Next.
Yes.
Next.
Next point. The song they have when they're on the boat.
Yeah.
We're not on the boat, when they're on the like floating car thing,
car.
the waterfall.
Why does the car float?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think of that. Okay. So, Goofy in one of his verses rhymes trophy with catastrophe.
Yeah.
But pronounces it catastrophe.
Catastrophe, yeah.
Catastrophe.
Oh, it's so good. I have no
So
objection to
wrong.
that.
Okay,
I
fair enough.
noticed
And
that as well. It was excellent. There's a few other good quality rhymes in that song.
There's a fantastic line where Max just says, "So he seems intoxicated," referring to Goofy. It was like, okay, someone in the Disney universe has finally mentioned this.
But
the
no, we
perfect
need to talk
cast.
about Pauly Shore and his drug problem.
After we deal with Goofy's AA meeting. Right? Yeah, the perfect cast. The whole like doing all these moves to cast. That was like Chekhov's gun. They like made such a big deal to mention that, and then he like saves his father's life with it.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like,
no, totally, yeah.
yeah, they're floating down the waterfall down alongside the waterfall with the parachute, and she goes, and literally I have the line here, and then they were at the concert.
Instead of that, I literally just had montage, and then like waterfall.
There's no
concert.
montage.
No, before that.
Oh right.
So there's a montage.
Waterfall concert.
Yeah, there was a montage. Some stuff happened that you knew was gonna happen, and then, yeah.
It's just there's literally just cuts to that concert. There's also a huge animation bump at that concert as well. The animation got a lot better with that like final scene.
Yeah, I get the feeling that this like there was not necessarily animation cut, but like stuff that was storyboarded and scripted, but not animated.
Yeah, I get the impression that the climax was like animated first.
Yeah, probably. There's the bit after like the waterfall bit. I was streaming and I was just looking at how long's left. Oh, there's like 15 minutes left in the entire movie, so they have to still get to LA, do the concert, which will take the length of the song, and then wrap everything else up in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it is actually like a really short movie. It's 78 minutes, which is quite short. It's just over an hour.
Alternative ending. You know the explosion at the end when Goofy's car explodes and he's in it, and they're all like, what? Alternative ending. Goofy dies in the explosion and Max has to become Goofy.
Yeah. And thus the dream at the beginning is foreshadowing.
Or it's like a curse. When one dies, there's a new one.
There can only be one.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Is it true to become you, I have to kill you?
Is it true to become you, I have to eat you?
But yeah, how do you feel about this after all these years on?
I remember this movie pretty well, except for all of the songs, apparently. I remember that storyline really well, and it was exactly as I remembered. I thought it was actually very good. I really enjoyed it. I understand like all the criticisms that were brought up like during it, and criticisms like from reviews and things. I understand that. It was just like something that I really enjoyed at the time. I probably fast forwarded through the songs.
Yeah, but the biggest criticism, like apart from the songs thing, is that it feels like a straight to video film.
It's very short.
And like this day and age, when you're downloading it and you're watching it on streaming services and things like that, that doesn't really matter.
No, exactly.
So
That's not like again. Yeah, that's not really. And like that didn't matter to me as a kid. I think if you brought a kid to it, you might be like, "Oh, that wasn't like great for cinema price." I guess.
For me, the nostalgia factor kind of wore off a little too quickly.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was the fact that I had to watch it twice.
Yeah, you had to watch it twice. It's your fault.
Because like, yeah, it was my fault. I will give you that. But like, I half watched it the first time because I was like with friends and stuff like that.
I'd say that probably didn't
take.
you'd be affected. It's not great to watch more than once in a row, I guess. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't watch it with my missus because she actually she watched it, and then her younger sister, and then her younger brother again, all watched it far too much. She knows it off by heart and just can't stand it anymore.
I think that's probably I probably experienced a similar thing in that, like, I remember watching it quite a lot. I don't think I had it on video, but I think it was one of like the few things in a video like rental place.
Yeah,
I got
it's like poor replay value.
Yes, I would agree. However, long times between replays make it great.
Like, extensive 5 years minimum.
It's like you, Kieran. I get really sick of you, but then I moved away, and now I like you again.
Well,
Ha 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 ha. Awkward.
well, fuck you.
And welcome back to Betamax Dreams, the podcast about stuff and talking.
I believe you have a question for me, Hugh.
I do. This is the part of the show where we pose a question to each other and then we discuss it.
Yeah.
My question is related to, you know, where like Disney have bought two very large properties of things that have a lot of like what you would class as like non-Disney related characters that are now technically property of the Disney organization, even though one of them is like there's lots of things around one of them. So they bought Marvel. So they don't have the film rights to a lot of the Marvel stuff because various studios have them for various amounts of time, for as long as they keep making movies, etc., etc. But they bought Lucasfilm / Lucas Arts / Lucas everything.
They've also like bought Pixar, the Muppet Studio. They bought I'm not sure how many people out there care about it, but it's something I'm very much interested in, and you might be interested in as well. They bought Maker Studio, which is the biggest producer of YouTube content out there.
Yeah,
like if there's anyone out there on YouTube you like, they're probably with Maker.
My question is surrounding that, like, they technically could, and they are to an extent working that into like the Disney family of stuff. Disneyland has like loads of Mickey Mouse stuff and whatever. You could now just have, like, they already had some Star Wars stuff, but now you could just be like, oh, so Darth Vader's a Disney character, technically, from a purely technical point of view. You can just work him into like Disney family crap. It's just.
But so is JD from Scrubs.
But they're less likely to do it. So I mean,
okay, go on.
What character would you most and least like to like join the Disney family of? If you were to line them all up as friends at in the Magic Kingdom, if they were all to be friends in one universe, who would you most like to be in their family, and who would you least like to be part of the Disney arm of everything?
Okay, least like, because straight off the top of my head, Tap Dancing Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3.
But they could do it. They just need to buy the rights to Tap Dancing Spider-Man from Sony.
But like, he's not allowed
they can have normal Spider-Man, but Tap Dancing Spider-Man is Sony's. They own him forever.
Tap Dancing Spider-Man is constantly tap dancing. He's not allowed to stop.
He's like the Budweiser dog. I don't remember his name.
I'm very excited for like what this means. I'm looking forward to like the X-Men like virtual reality ride at Walt Disney Studios, where like feel the horrible social and political isolation of being a mutant, which is just a parallel for like black rights and gay rights during the 60s.
But I just like the really funny idea of like walking around Disneyland and just like one of the X-Men walking up to you and you're just like, I'm confused.
I love the description of Disneyland. It's like Swoozle's description of Disneyland, where it's just like there's that one really enthusiastic guy where he's like far too into his role. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
dressed as Aladdin, he'll come up and he's like, "Hey kids, I stole this bread. Come on, we have to run because or else Jafar and his goons will get me." Da, da, da. And then like Deadpool walks up. I was like, "Whoa, Deadpool! I have cancer." It's like, oh no, Deadpool.
Or Wolverine runs up with just blood on his, his clothes.
I killed Jafar.
I had to protect Aladdin.
And then like like Darth Vader
Oh,
comes
the
over and is like,
crossovers.
remember when I killed all those young kids? Yeah.
Disney.
Disney, family friendly. Oh my god, there's actually a lot in there that I don't like to begin with. One of the things they've been bringing into like the main Disney brand, which feels weird and forced, is and it's not actually from any of their recent acquisitions. This is like actually 100% Disney, but it still feels weird and forced. Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, there's a Pirates of the Caribbean level in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is weird. It's like PlayStation 2 kind of live action graphic type of things, which is weird and really polygonal. And then like beside that is the really nice stylized Square Enix artwork that works with the limitations of the console.
Yeah.
And then like you have characters from like cartoonish version of the characters from Pirates of the Caribbean in Disney Infinity, that little Skylanders
Yeah. Skylanders style thing.
like competition.
Mhm.
I always thought that was really forced, but it's not from any of the recent acquisitions.
No, because that's based on a book / a Disney ride.
Yeah.
Though I'm like, I really wish that Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't successful money wise, because it's not very good.
No, it's not. The first movie's okay.
Yeah, like I remember seeing it when it came. Like I actually didn't see it when it came out. I saw it a year later. I think the second one wasn't out yet, but I remember I watched it on like in someone's house on DVD, and I was like, that was pretty good. But I don't see why they're making like another one. It was good.
2 and 3 was god awful.
I went to 2 like on a date. It was really awkward because I was like, I don't want to complain about this movie.
If she realizes the movie's bad, then the date's bad, and then I'm bad.
That's how I talked when I was like 14 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh
look
god.
at me, I'm Hugh. I was dating at 14.
I was probably 15. Let's be fair. Anyway, that is really not important to the story.
No, it's not. We've given far too much away. Like from the recent acquisitions, they've worked in Pixar quite well.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But that was kind of easy to fit in because it was cartoons. They were like appealing to the same target audience. Anyone from Maker Studios, like if they like if like JonTron was like
JonTron's Mickey Mouse Hour.
Yeah.
That would be weird. That would have so many layers to it.
JonTron in the new Kingdom Hearts game.
See, that would be fine. It would just be I would be more concerned about like just the giant character of someone walking around at Disneyland. You can't do that with real people. I guess it's more like things that are costumes. But if you started trying to do it with people who are actually just dressed as themselves at their job.
I'm imagining the real JonTron going to Disneyland, and there's like a couple of people who meet his description loosely, like short, kind of pudgy, have good facial hair kind of thing going on.
I think they should have like clear costumes, like they have
like actual giant foam bobblehead kind of thing.
Yeah. But just of real people,
and all just like doing over characterized versions of JonTron. I guess that's my answer. Anyone from Maker Studios.
Anyone from Maker Studios, specifically because that would be terrifying. But things that Disney could buy and work into their life.
There's so many things. What would I bring in?
Yeah, what would you bring in?
Would be
what do you think needs bigger eyes? Basically, is my question.
I would actually real talk about Skylanders and Disney Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the money to support that kind of shit right now, but if I was a kid, I would have gobbled that shit up.
Oh yeah, no, I got crazy.
That is this generation's Pokemon cards, like fuck. Like that would have wasted all my money, and by that I mean all my parents' monies because I was like 7.
Where have you gotten all this money here on?
Well, I work the street.
I sell drugs to even younger kids.
I sell my drugs and my body. But let's see. Tragic. Anyway, the one thing that I criticize Disney Infinity for is not incorporating the main universe. Disney Infinity could be something really good if they just started like putting in all their chips, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because when it came out initially, when the teaser trailers came out, it was all Pixar IPs. Like there was The Incredibles, and then there was Pirates of the Caribbean, which is still not main Disney universe. The closest I think they had to main Disney universe was the girl from Tangled, and that is like a recent 3D animated. And they had Sully.
The girl from Tangled. You mean Rapunzel?
No, her name's Aurora.
What? Oh God!
Hang on. Let me look this up.
This better be true.
Tangled. Oh no. Okay, no, it's Rapunzel. Who's
There we
Aurora? Aurora is someone. And yeah, and like nowadays in Disney Infinity, it's still like the people from Frozen and Phineas and Ferb, or whatever that is.
Oh yeah, that show was
Aurora is Sleeping Beauty. Aurora is Sleeping Beauty.
That's okay. I suppose Sleeping Beauty isn't really a name.
No, it's not. If it is, it's a very audacious name. But yeah, like they need to. I would actually like to see them put all their chips on the table. I mean, all their chips. I want in my Disney Infinity, I want like to be able to play as like a little cartoonish version of Wolverine and a little cartoonish version of like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, see,
and interact with this world. That would be really good if they.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do that.
They won't do it. No, of course they won't. They're afraid to put in Simba, for Christ's sake.
I love Simba.
Yeah, Simba's
He made a great playable character and stuff.
That also being said, I would love if they went the full 9 yards with Kingdom Hearts as well, where there was like a Marvel and Star Wars universe in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Because then if you did something good in the Star Wars world, you get like the lightsaber Keyblade. I want that so bad. I want that to be real.
Why?
But yeah, what about you?
I would like if Disney bought Rockstar and didn't like just left it alone.
Oh, hang on, they're allowed to buy new properties in this world.
Yeah, because they can. Yeah, to incorporate like other things that aren't.
Oh fuck. Okay, go on. I think
so, and then they'll just like leave everything the way it is, except they'll add Max Payne to their Disney family.
Yay! He's like wandering around like Disneyland.
Yeah,
my wife.
Like, my wife's been killed.
My job.
And Mickey's all like, "It's pain.
Run away, kids! It's pain.
Run away, kids! It's pain. Not pray." Yeah,
Rockstar would be a weird one.
I'd pay for that.
Usually when companies buy smaller companies, you don't have to pay them anything to do it.
Why? That would be great.
I'm trying to think who like would be the new company I'd add that Disney needs to buy.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the age-old complaint that you really need to buy X-Men off of Fox and Spider-Man off of Sony.
Nah.
I really want them in the like Avengers universe. I'm sorry.
Nah. They already bought like what's the thing? Joss Whedon. Like they own him as a person.
Oh yeah, all of Joss Whedon's previous works have to go into the Disney universe.
Yeah, if they bought Fox, they just bought Fox. Because even though he kept saying he'd stop working for Fox, he would just make another show of Fox and they'd cancel it.
Yeah.
Like, why haven't you learned, Joss Whedon?
So like Buffy and like the cast of Firefly all just hanging out and then also they get a Kingdom Hearts world.
Yeah.
It's all about what I want the Kingdom Hearts world for.
Buffy and Nathan Fillion just like have chats.
Star Trek.
Nathan Fillion isn't the like preacher from the end season of Buffy. He's himself.
He's Mal. Yeah.
No, he's not Mal. He's Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. They buy Nathan Fillion.
They could do it. They could just purchase him. He's for sale.
They also buy Star Trek. They buy Star Trek.
They buy Star Trek. They don't need Star Trek. They have a crossover Star Trek Star Wars where the Enterprise goes back in time to a galaxy far, far away accidentally. Yeah. Q is involved.
What's that thing? What's his name? Something Oswald. He's like a
Harvey
famous
Oswald.
Oh my god! What is it? Yeah,
what?
Patton Oswalt. Oswalt.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, did you see him doing that, like, he was in Parks and Rec and he was doing the filibustering scene, and then there's, like, the extended version of it, and he wrote this beforehand because they told him just to ramble whatever he wanted, but he wrote it beforehand, and it's his, like, ridiculous fan service draft script for the new Star Wars movies, He starts bringing in all the like Avenger characters and like Marvel Universe stuff into like Star Wars.
Because they can just do that if they want, I guess.
I don't think you were there for this, but I had like a lengthy discussion with like some of our shared friends, and it was great because it was basically what it was. It was my planned idea of like the United Nations in terms of crossover, right? So, okay, bear with me with this. You take like the biggest cultural phenomenon, I guess the biggest you can, from each individual nation and make a huge crossover series. So you'd be like, you'd have the Doctor from representing the UK. From France, you'd have Obelisk and Asterix.
Of course.
From Ireland, you'd have Father Ted and Father Dougal Maguire. Japan has Godzilla.
Poor Japan. They have so many other IPs they could use.
I know, but Godzilla is definitely the most recognizable. And then like you'd have Superman from the States, and this would just keep going on. And Belgium would have Tintin.
Yeah.
And you'd have like this big crossover crazy universe. It reminds me of, there was that really well made comic online where they basically did all the Cartoon Network IPs grown up and living in the same universe.
Oh god.
It's actually really good and really well made, but it
never
updates.
Yeah, definitely.
It never
I remember
updates.
this.
Yeah, and like some of it was like really dark, like how Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory had died, so Dexter makes this robot version of her to like keep him company.
That's nice.
But yeah,
you know who Denmark could have as their as their IP?
Who do they have?
Agent 47.
Good night, everybody.